So I was like, maybe this is emotion. But then as I got older, I saw how the elite are all involved in the occult. They hate Christians. They hate real Christians. Spiritual stuff, possession, all this is real. And obviously my relationship with God's gotten much stronger. I've got discernment. I've had experiences I won't get into that are personal. God's absolutely real. Good and evil's real. The devil's real. But from your deep research, what's at the bottom of the rabbit hole?
Well, we know from Scripture that Satan is going to will in fact take over the planet for a short period of time during the tribulation period of 7 years. This deception is going to be manifest almost immediately. I think we're going to see what's called full disclosure of the UFO situation in our time and in probably the next few months. The world has to get to a point where Satan is, of course, driving it, where we have so many crisis curves that are threatening to life that people will accept a new world order that is not political, not religious, no political parties, in other words, that it's off the planet.
A cultural singularity.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to say it. It needs to be something where no one can complain that it's against their religion or against their political structures or laws or whatever. It has to be off the world, and that's the.
Is it going to be like Topolymnus said it would be, life extension, like in Childhood's End?
Yes, somewhat like that, but and also like the movie V, where they came to help us, in the movie, and people just rushed to join this new world order that was set up by beings bringing us gifts. It's a Trojan horse, really, and that's what we're about to see.
Well, here's the deal. I never get into all those things. I know you worked in black projects. There's a lot of secret technology, and that's been confirmed that we're 50 years more advanced than what we're even seeing, but the elites believe that they're communicating with interdimensional entities. That's mainstream news. They believe, like Avatar, that it's entering into them, jacking in, using their bodies, just like we saw in the movie Avatar. That's what voodoo is, that the president, the former president, and his wife admittedly practice, and top Democrats practice, and they use it to kill people, they believe. That's mainstream news today. The Democrats believe they kill people with these spirits, whether that's true or not. This shows what they believe. We should study this, whether they be pygmies or wild savages somewhere, or the Democrat and Republican leadership. But you read Ezekiel and you read Genesis, it's very clear what they're talking about. The modern preachers try to say, oh, that's metaphors and the rest of it, but it's pretty clear in Ezekiel what's going on.
In Ezekiel, it's an interesting thing about parallel worlds, because Ezekiel's flaming chariot appeared in the clouds, in the heavens, as it came through. It was hot and flaming, and when you hear reports of ghosts, for instance, appearing to people in a room, the room is colder from a lower energy universe. And when Ezekiel saw the chariot come down, it was from a higher energy universe. Even Moses, when he tried to talk to God face to face on the mount, he said, "Look, can I see your face? See who I'm talking to?" And God said, "Look, Moses, I'd like to do that." I'm paraphrasing, but he says, "Hide over here in this cleft, and I'll put my image up on this cloud so you can see what I look like there, because if I were to come down right in front of you direct, my energy would destroy your body." And this is telling us that there are parallel worlds, just like our physicists are now explaining to us, where the energy density of the atoms in one level is different to ours, greater, and below us is another one that is lower. There's a strange thing in the book of Revelation of John. Toward the end of it, it talks about the earth and the heavens being destroyed in a great rush of heat and fire, but a new earth and a new heaven will replace it. And I think what is happening is that God's universe is combining with ours, is collapsing ours at the end of that millennial period of 1,000 years. Our universe will be absorbed into His, and a pattern for Earth and the heavens will be recreated there in His.
So there's an interdimensional merger. We know that's what the third dimension is doing, is actually a gateway dimension. I guess the lowest dimension that's high enough to be able to expand into all the other dimensions. It's almost a launch pad.
Yes, and they do tell us in the scriptures that as we get closer to that moment, the visual veil between our universe and the parallel one, we'll be able to see some of the demons and stuff, with our eyes, which is quite frightening when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, there's reports of people who aren't even Christians seeing this everywhere. Exorcisms, mass mental illness is exploding, and people are acting like they're classically possessed, like Linda Blair.
Right. Look, mess, as I heard you saying a while ago. There are political, economic, environmental things happening, and it's going to get worse here in the United States to start with and across the planet after that. I do think we're going to see more weather catastrophes, and in particular, I'm watching for earthquakes over in California along the Rose Canyon fault line from Costa Mesa, which is just south of L.A., down to San Diego. There's a report actually published here. Holly's got it on the front page of our site on the left column, down about 4 or 5 pictures, where it says San Diego quake could kill 2,000, inflict $40 billion in property damage. Now that's just an official thing saying it could, but it's on the Rose Canyon fault, which I've been watching. There are a number of
Well, let me ask you that, Dick, because you've got the computer models. You've been incredibly accurate predicting earthquakes just from public knowledge, using your engineering skills. How many years overdue is California for a megaquake? Because years after you said it, even mainstream news says it's, 10, 12, 14 years over?
Well, again, it depends on whose statistics you use, but certainly it is overdue on a number of fronts when we lose averaging of the statistics. But statistics can lie; they can mislead, and so it may not be overdue. It just may be on schedule, and it's above the average. But I would not be comfortable in California myself, all the way up to the Juan de Fuca offshore.
And how does that tie into the huge record Mexican earthquake last week?
Rather interesting, because that earthquake is offshore, and the aftershocks are numerous. We're seeing them reported in the Mexican press and the American USGS. The fact that it's vibrating like a tympanic membrane, like a rubber membrane of sort, is worrying, because that means that the underlying landmass is thin and not locked in. It's interesting that the Soda Creek in Idaho, the Soda Creek earthquake we had a few weeks ago, I was watching it, as were others that study earthquakes, and we saw that there were like thousands, like 1,800 to 2,000 aftershocks. And then when you go back to look at it now, they say at USGS, there was maybe 280 quakes and aftershocks and stuff there.